Welcome back to part two of culture. Dang, I'm really bad right now. Culture appropriation or cultural thieves or whatever the heck you want to call it. Like the other time, we were speaking about, the beginning was a culture appropriation, based on how everyone knows, like the basic one that everyone knows is like, black people say that white people steal their culture, and then we actually spoke about the history of that, and in which technically black people stole white people's culture, and white people stole the evolution of what black people stole, and
Yeah,
it's just pretty much we're just thieves taking back a new version of what was originally stolen.
Mm-hmm. So it is weird because it's not cultural appropriation. Like we said yesterday, how a lot of, let's just go out and say black culture as it stands. I mean, we all probably heard about this article about this Asian man that made mention that the problem with black people is their culture. The culture is dysfunctional. But the thing is, they, get mad if they see other people actually using this functionality of the culture to make, money off of it or use it as a form of entertainment. And talking about they stealing your culture, like bro, you talk about destruction all the time. You talking about, pretty much walking over women. You talk about selling drugs and stuff like that, having criminal records and stuff like that. But yet you get mad if you see a white dude who's actually talking about the same thing, using the same, per se, genre of music and stuff like that. You get all upset about it because, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of white folks out here who's out here making trap music, but they're not making it in the same way you see blacks make it in mainstream. But they out here making trap music. There's quite a few trap artists that makes a lot of trap beats that's all over YouTube that's non-black. But some will say that they stealing our culture and everything. Then you might go as far as say like, then what about jazz? Jazz was originally created by blacks, and that when you think of jazz now, you think of some type of high society sort of thing. You think of certain artists like Kenny G and stuff like that. But you may say like, they stole that from blacks. Then some may say, what about rock music, rock and roll, heavy metal? Yeah, we created that. But here's the problem. Black people will say that white people stole it, but yet if you black who knows that originally with black people, that originally came from black folks, and you actually into it, black people say you being white for being in something that was originally created by black.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
A lot of that, man. There's a lot of stuff you just said. I just want to speak about. If I could just organize our brain to saying it point by point. So back to what you were saying about black people complain about white people making money off of it. For one, it goes back to the whole thing of podcast episode I was talking about gentrification. We as black people in America have literally sold our physical, soul, intellectual, and anything else about ourselves. We didn't. It wasn't stolen from us. We sold it. Like slavery is a different thing. In fact, we even still sold other black people or Africans to Spaniards and white people anyway. So but we're doing the upgraded version of selling ourselves now because we selling our culture to them. We're not holding on to it tight enough since you guys are complaining. And now you guys are getting really pissed off that like Eminem, one of the biggest rappers of all time, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people are angry at that, but there's a small minority of people that hate on Eminem mainly because he's white and he's a multi-millionaire rap artist. Mm-hmm. Even people hated on freaking Vanilla Ice too. Like granted his rhymes weren't that good, but like he was quote unquote culture appropriating black people for rapping.
Don't get me wrong. On this one dude, white dude, I think out of the '90s, R&B singer. I had no idea that he was white.
What is that dude's name? I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking. What is that song?
I heard the song I didn't know the dude was white. I thought he was black this entire time. When the officer showed me, like, hold up, he's white.
I know who you're talking about. I just what is that song, dude? I know who you're talking about. But back late '90s. What the hell was that song? But sorry for keep dropping on about it. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but black people like to think that we're the only race on the planet that got sold. Now there are other people that got sold too that can make some daggone good music that you would think that black people produce, but we didn't quite produce.
Yeah, well, what do you mean by produce it? Because at the end of the day,
because you know what, black people, we got certain
make. Do you mean like create from their own inside of their body, like vocally, write it down?
Not only vocally, but even how the music sounds. How the way how they do the drum beats, the riff, everything. Even is a uniqueness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can tell, like, you know, if it's black music or if it's not. Now there are some cultures that I do would say some music I heard from different cultures. I would say they got soul. What I mean by that is let's say that music has a certain vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's hard to explain, but that's how I can tell. I mean, I used to sometimes do a lot of Japanese jazz music. That's pretty good. Japanese jazz.
That sounds interesting. Japanese jazz music.
Mm-hmm. But the music I cannot lock on to, man. It's Ethiopian music. I just can't.
Ethiopian.
I can't do Ethiopian music.
I don't know. I mean, you're now expanding it broad as the world. I mean, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
I just know about American cultures and the difference, and some of the differences we have, or a lot of differences we have.
Oh, you're not getting too far off track with different culture, different music. But yeah, when it come down to, like I stated before, with stuff like certain things that's related to culture. Like, for example, I think hockey was actually started by black people in Canada. But the thing is, you see a black person want to play hockey now, and people say he's trying to be white. It's funny how many things that actually was invented and, like, catapulted by blacks that, you know, they may say, oh, yeah, white people took it. But the thing is, you get involved in it as a black person, you be trying to accuse of being, you know, some type of Uncle Tom or something that's like that. It's weird. So when we talk about cultural appropriation, you know, I don't know. It's basically, it's just, I think I'm seeing it as this idea where low key, where a lot of blacks feel okay. We had a lot of stuff taken from us. We had our land taken from us. We had even had us taken from us.
Yeah.
And last thing we need is something taking our culture from us. So, like, we had enough of that. We just, for once, that was ours, stay ours. Like, you're not taking other people's culture and stuff. So that's why it's a big complaint among black people, cultural appropriation. They just want to have what they feel they created as theirs and their culture to stay in our hands and be acknowledged. That's what it is.
But yeah, like I said before, I agree with that, and I believe. And personally, if I invent anything, I want it to stay with me and my family and friends and close people to me. But I mean, like I said, we've basically given it away. We've been giving it away for centuries, for generations, and even like going back to what you said, there's certain things that we or our ancestors, whatever, invented, like jazz, and I didn't even know about the hockey thing, so good job with that. And in rock and roll and other stuff, when we go back to certain people go back to it and try to, like, I'm pretty sure Jimi Hendrix, for example, people probably shit on him too at the beginning, like, oh, well, both white and black people shit on him too, because that's not only just blaming on black people for shitting on other black people for doing things that are quote unquote white, because even white people are surprised, like, that N-word, he's playing hockey, he should be the hockey puck. I've heard that before. I've heard that multiple times before. But yeah, like, I'm pretty. We've given all those intellectual inventions up to other cultures, other races, whatever, and so why the hell? Why do we deserve to have it back if we keep just giving it away? And why should anybody at all, doesn't matter what the race, open their mouth if somebody wants to try going back to what we know or what was invented, which was like this jazz and rock and roll? Like, why should anybody be insulted? Even I don't know about country, don't know about country at all. Who made country? Don't really care, don't really like it. But I'm just saying that, for example, like. Darius, whatever that dude's name is from Hootie and the Blowfish.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's what was that? Was that country rock or was that just purely country? The only be with you, that guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like people got on him too. I'm pretty sure a lot of people got on him, both black, white, possibly Asian, possibly Hispanic, whatever. Saying, what is this N-word doing here with these white boys making country music, whatever? Like, dude, if he wants to do it, let him do it. Stop getting on his case about it. If you want to do it or don't do it, then do it or don't do it.
I think we'll come down to black. We lock ourselves into a box, really, with this cultural appropriation, and also with this idea that we got to be a certain way in order to be seen as black.
Yeah.
You know, like with whites, they can have alternative funk. They can, not alternative funk. They can have alternative folk. They can have country. They can have rock. Soft rock, rock and roll,
alternative rock,
heavy
metal.
Yeah, they can have all these different genres. They can go into
reggae.
Mm-hmm. But with blacks, we gotta be narrowed down to this, to now the current thing, which is what, trap music. Before that, no.
Actually, auto tune.
Yeah, that. So
auto tune, mumble rap.
That's basically it, and that actually makes entirely no sense. That the problem with black culture is they keep putting it into a box, and nobody, no other race is doing this to black people. Black people doing this to themselves. They always gotta condense themselves into a box, so they turn back around complaining, how come we can't do this or that, because the other races ain't gonna complain as much as your own race going to.
True, because I was about to say, like, other races do complain, and like the examples I've actually seen in person. But yeah, it's at the end of the day, like, compared to basically the way because segregation still exists in this country, in this world, but it's not like blatant and it's not as harsh as it used to be. But it's not legal segregation. But what I'm basically saying is, majority of people of the same race, same similar culture, same hairstyle, same everything, whatever, lives in close proximity to each other. So at the end of the day, and this is most of the time, if a person, if a white dude, whatever, most of his neighbors or whatever live. No, wait, that's a bad example because we just said that because it's actually true. But anyway, if a black dude lives in the neighborhood, whatever, want to try something that's quote unquote white or wise or whatever, then he's going to get ridiculed so bad by every one of his black people, probably get beat up, and no females will ask him out or anything like that, except for when he goes to where the quote-unquote white places are, and then you'll have probably, like, let's say, 5 out of 10 people will be, 50% of people will be on his side for doing what is quote-unquote white, and the other 50% will probably be against them. Or probably even less than that. Probably like 70% will be on his side for doing it, and 30% will be against them.
Pretty much. And so it's his thing. It's like that movie, Dope. You know, you seen that movie, right?
Dope?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my favorite movie.
And look at the type of dude he was.
Yeah. That's seriously, yeah. He can't be a nerd. Even a classic 90s hip-hop R&B nerd. Him and his friends can't be that because one's a dark-skinned black dude, one's a light-skinned lesbian chick, and one's an Indian dude who claims he's black.
Yeah, and it's crazy because let's we said at the end of the movie, like, dude say he want to go to something like Harvard, right?
Yeah.
They asked him, like, if he was white, would you really have to ask him that question?
Yeah, exactly, because we, like you said, we put ourselves in a box, they put us in a box, and that's at the end of the day, like, who can you get really mad at for culture appropriation if the two main things that's messing up the quote-unquote culture of black Americans, which is one, keeping the culture, quote-unquote culture, in a box, which you can only do certain things, and two, you're just giving it off whenever the hell someone's like, hey, I can make some money with that, you want to make some money? And at the end of the day, they're benefiting more than you are for giving that quote-unquote culture piece away.
Yeah, it's like when I was back in high school, man, you know, I was into computers and stuff like that, but the thing is, it was like hard to find, you know, I would say a group of people who was into it, like I was, like seeing like group black people who was actually into IT type of work.
Yeah. And
you start to feel kind of like out there by yourself because, like, damn, everybody's into this other stuff. Like, you went into technology and stuff.
Yeah.
That's why when I saw that one image online of like this group of girls who graduated college with degrees in computer science, that to me was like kind of intriguing and shocking at the same time because I'm like, these are all black women that's got degrees in computer science. Like, I can't even put black women and computers in the same sentence.
True. Yeah, that's really true. It's a shocker because even like when we had that conversation about that image you said, I also spoke about the movie Hidden Figures, in which that one is borderline. That one is pretty much both races. Like, that's not a common thing. Don't do it, and that's mainly that movie. What's based off is mainly like racist white people. Like, no, you're not going to do it. No, you're not. You're not smarter than us. Blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. So that's more on their side. That's not necessarily the culture appropriation, but yeah, I guess it's something similar. Like, that's something out of the norm.
Yeah, it is, and that's the problem with doing stuff out of norm in the black community. You know, that's considered not even part of black culture. Mm-hmm. And they try to feel like, okay, you're not trying to be black, you're trying to be white. That's why, you know, like most of my youth, I was like surprised once I actually started meeting chicks that was actually into video games.
True.
Yeah, like, oh, you a female, you actually into video games, you play video games?
But that one is, I guess that one would be gender, culture differences, whatever, because, like, I don't care what the hell the race